All right, so welcome to today's Cloud Academy platform demonstration. My name is Ted McCleery. I'm a strategic account executive here at Cloud Academy. Just really for a quick, brief agenda, the main focus of this call is going to be our demonstration, followed at the end by a quick Q&A. So if you have any questions, please feel free to write them down, and we will do our best to answer those at the end of the demonstration. With that said, I am going to jump right in. Let me transition my screen here. Okay, so to start things off, I do want to first and foremost say that I am an administrator inside of Cloud Academy. And as an administrator, I have a few things that I can do. Number one, when I start off, the first thing I actually want to do is to create my teams. So whether you're an organization that is 5 people or 14,000 people, you can mirror your organization's hierarchy. You can also categorize your teams by specific initiatives. A lot of our customers nowadays are structuring them around particular certification initiatives. Also, you can categorize them by job roles. And I'll use Acme Partners as an example today. So once you create the team, you can assign various roles to those team members. I talked a little bit about being an admin inside of Cloud Academy currently. We also give you the teams. And think of a team manager as somewhat of a pseudo admin who manages that particular team and is in charge of their day-to-day training objectives. All right, so we've created the team based on your hierarchy, based on your particular certification initiatives, or again, based on the role and responsibility of the employees on that team. The next thing we want to do is assign an assessment to that team. An assessment is primarily utilized as a mechanism to gain the baseline skill sets of your team members on a particular technology. So out of the box, we've got a few exams. We also do have a wide variety of hands-on labs. Again, assessments are designed to test those baseline skill sets and give you a better idea of where those individual employees' skills lie right out of the gate. So let's take a look at an assessment that has been completed. I'm going to use this pre-assessment on AWS, Azure, and GCP. So again, this is an assessment that's been completed. You can see once the assessment is done, you're beginning to immediately get skill gaps based on the platform, based on the domain, and even the concept. We also give you the ability to see the strengths of the team through either the platform or the domain. One of the things that's really awesome about this tool is that everybody, of course, learns at different speeds. Everybody has different experiences in their career. And so that really does come to light when you take a look at the skill sets that are possessed by different team members. Also gives you the ability to understand which training may be best suited for various team members. So you can see the progress that they've had on the assessment and, of course, the assessment score that was had during the process of taking the exam. All right, so we've talked about building the team. We've talked about assessing the team. The next thing we want to do is begin to assign what we call a training plan. And a training plan is the mechanism by which your team begins to consume content in a manner or time frame that is designated to them. So in this example, I'm going to use the Cloud Architect AWS Starter as our first training plan. And this is really when a lot of visibility is gained by team managers and admins on the amount of time that they want to allocate for this particular training. So I can come in here and say, I want my employees to dedicate an hour and 30 minutes to this particular course. You might also come in and say, I have a particular project that is due at a selected time. So I want them to be done in a month's time. And actually the weekly commit will adapt to that due date. I can also come in and add training objectives so that my team members are aware of what is expected of them and of course why they are taking this training. I'm going to confirm and assign and give it a second and it will load up. But again, the real value of training plans is of course having those dedicated times for when the training is going to be completed. The other great thing about our training plans is that many of our customers are setting these up a year in advance. So as a student completes a particular course, they are then routed to another course. So we started with the AWS Starter. Maybe the next one we want to do is the AWS Intermediate. So I can select this. It lines up exactly when the last class that I assigned is over. I can review and confirm. And I now have my team's training continuously throughout the life cycle of using Cloud Academy. The other thing I want to point out is we take visibility a step further, and I'm going to show you a training plan that is in progress. I'll go with the security engineer for Azure Starter. And what I mean by taking it a step further is once the training plan begins for those team members, I can see all of the progress that the team is having on that particular plan. I can also see how they are tracking based on the due date I've selected for that particular training program or plan. And I can also nudge them. So if I see someone is falling behind or someone maybe is looking like they're struggling, I can come in and nudge them and ask them to go back in and start the training plan or potentially reach out to me if they need some assistance. All right, so in summary, we talked about building teams, we talked about assessing your teams, and then we also talked about assigning training plans with due dates and having that accountability and visibility built in. I'm going to shift now to talk a little bit about reporting and analytics. I'm going to start with our analytics tool. Cloud Academy's analytics tool is really driven by consumption-based metrics. So all of the courses that an organization is taking, how many hours are spent, quizzes that individuals are taking, exams, hands-on labs, etc. One of the biggest use cases for analytics right now, of course, is exams. Many of our customers, large customers, are having their employees become certified to particular cloud technologies like AWS, for example. And this is a great way to see who may or may not be ready for those official certification exams. And how our clients view it is by looking at the metrics on time spent on a particular exam, exams completed, and the biggest one, of course, is the exams passed. A good rule of thumb is that if an employee has taken an exam 3 or more times and passed, that individual is probably ready to take a certified exam. Now, we do take analytics a step further in what we call skill profiles. And skill profiles are the growth that your employees or your teams are showcasing in a very granular fashion based on platform or domain, concept, or a particular software tool. You can see the skill growth over time based on all of the content and all of the training that has been consumed inside of Cloud Academy. But we even take it a step further. So if I was to select AWS and look into the skills that have been acquired, for example, in security, I could see all of the skill growth that has been acquired over time, as well as seeing the top users inside of my organization. So for a particular project, a particular initiative that I have, this gives me great insight into who might be best suited to either lead those projects or initiatives, or who might be best suited to help others when we do get into, again, those projects or initiatives. All right, so we took a look at the analytics. I'm going to transition now and talk a little bit about the end user experience. So transitioning from the admin side to the end user side. Okay, so when an end user logs in to Cloud Academy, there's a wide variety of areas that they can explore. Number one, they can see all of the activity that they've completed or continue to study. They can also see the top picks based on their previous courses or classes that they've taken. This area has somewhat of a Netflix feel, if you will. We also have the completed content that an individual has taken, so kind of a reflection on where they've been and what they've taken. And of course, when they come in, they can resume their training plans that have been assigned to them, and or if they would like, create their own personal training plans for themselves. We do have a new feature that recently came out that gives end users the ability to upload their attained certifications. So pretty neat thing to be able to post that you got certified on LinkedIn and of course inside of Cloud Academy. We also do give end users the ability to search the entire training library up at the top. So if I was to type in something like AWS, I'd be able to see all of, or begin to see all of the content that I could potentially embark on from a training perspective. We do have a mobile app. A lot of our end users do utilize the mobile app. It's very friendly, very intuitive, really nice when you're on the go to be able to utilize that. We talked a little bit about skill profiles on the admin side. End users do have the ability to see their own individual skill profiles as well in their instance. For end users, it's really nice because they can come in, select, for example, AWS, and see right out of the gate how they can improve their score, and if there's something new that they potentially want to look into or train to, they can begin to browse the training and improve their score. We do also give end users the ability to see where they sit as far as the leaderboard for a particular domain or platform inside of Cloud Academy. We do the top 10 users, and then if you're outside of the top 10 users, you are shown where you sit as far as the hierarchy of the leaderboard. So you can see Michael is 32 out of 1. All right, so let's talk a little bit about our training library and how our learning paths are structured. I want to start this section off by saying that Cloud Academy is extremely transparent about our content. So if at any point you get the urge, you can go to www.cloudacademy.com and browse our public-facing training library. It's also here that you can browse our content roadmap, so show you what's upcoming as far as the content is concerned, and also show you what has been just released. We do categorize our content by the major 3 cloud platforms. We are laser focused on cloud technology, but we also do have a ton of other areas to explore, including DevOps, security, containers, etc. So For the purposes of this call and presentation, I'm going to jump into AWS to show you a little bit about how our training is categorized and how it is structured. And I'm going to use the AWS Cloud Practitioner Certification Learning Path. It's important to note that when you do start a learning path, you are given a pretty good set of time duration, the difficulty level, etc. Once you complete the class, you will get a certificate of excellence. Again, you could upload this into your certification profile that I showed on the end user dashboard. But I also want to point out that our learning paths are designed in a learn, do, validate model. So for example, I might take a course, take an exam or hands-on lab, and then be tested again on a quiz or an exam at the end. So very streamlined way of learning. Our students find it to be very intuitive and very easy to use. Let's take a look at a course. Give it a second. So our courses are video-based. Typically, the instructor will be live on the screen. We do give you a fairly large description of what is going to be covered in the actual course itself. Of course, all about the author, and you can get a transcript if you would like. You can also slow down the video if you'd like. I know sometimes we're all busy and we need to have a little bit of a slower volume of tone as we train. So the other thing I wanted to showcase is our hands-on labs. Cloud Academy's hands-on labs are one of the, it's probably one of the biggest features that our customers like. So I'm going to spin up a lab here. These labs are managed and provisioned by Cloud Academy. So there's no need to use your own AWS instance, for example. And I'm going to open the environment. And I want to also point out that we do have a wide variety of labs. So the one I'm going to show you is actually a guided lab. And I'll explain a little bit more about that here in a second. There we go. Sign in. So I've now just spun up the console inside of AWS. I mentioned that we have a wide variety of labs. This is a guided lab, and you can see it's a step-by-step walkthrough telling me how to create an EC2 instance. The great thing about our guided labs is as I work inside of the AWS console, I'm also able to get validation that I am completing the steps correctly. So at the bottom here, you'll see that I have my first check. This button, Start Check, is actually going to go into the instance that I have spun up and ensure or not ensure that I have completed the right steps to get from point A to point B. So again, this is one of the labs the Cloud Academy offers. Again, a guided lab. We also do have challenge labs, which take away the guided walkthrough. And then, of course, we do have open sandbox environments where students can go in and walk around, try new skills in a safe and secure environment. All right, so I'm going to end this lab. Close down my instance. The last part I wanted to show you as far as the learning paths are concerned are, of course, our exams. And exams have been a vital component, as I mentioned earlier, for organizations looking to get employees certified to a particular piece of cloud technology. Our exams are mirrored exactly and to the most extent that they can be to a real live exam. So you can see I have some max time I've got total questions. I can also see the topics that are covered in this particular exam. So one of the things that is nice about our exams, not only being somewhat of a real world scenario to what it's actually like to taking an exam, but also the ability to see what you got correct. And I'm just going to answer a few questions. What you got correct and what you didn't. And of course, the correct answers and where to find those correct answers based on the material that we give you. So I'll show you what that looks like. So I just completed an exam. Obviously, I know I skipped a lot of questions there, so my score is probably not going to be the best. But the point is being able to see all of the assessed scores, how it affected your own personal skill profile, and then of course the answers that you got correct, the ones you got wrong, which is very nice because you get the official AWS and documentation in this explanation. I can also see the ones that I skipped. So again, a really good way to test all of those skills that you've learned throughout the course inside of a final exam. And a lot of our courses do end with an exam. As I mentioned earlier, we do prescribe to a learn, do, validate model inside of our learning paths. All right, so we covered our courses, we covered our hands-on labs, we just got done wrapping up our exams. The last piece I wanted to talk about today is Content Engine. And Content Engine gives organizations and users the ability to customize all of the areas of Cloud Academy from a content perspective or a learning path perspective. So for example, if I wanted to upload into a learning path a security questionnaire based on my organization's internal policies, I could upload that file here into a particular learning path for my students. I could actually create or modify exams based on what our students needed to learn at our organization. And I can even create or modify hands-on labs. So a lot of cool things you can do inside of Content Engine. And a lot of our customers really find this valuable because it does give a more realistic sense for not only the tech stack you're using and how you want employees to understand and improve skills on that tech stack you're using, but it also gives students the ability to learn more about why you're using a particular tech stack and how to best utilize it. All right, so that is it for the quick walkthrough of Cloud Academy. Just going to see if there are any questions. Doesn't look like there are any questions. I just want to end this call by saying thank you all for joining. May the 4th be with you. Always a fun day for those Star Wars fans out there. You will be receiving a short survey after the call. And with that said, we appreciate your time and have a great rest of your day. Take care.